Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. You know how this works. We start with some interesting text.
And we see where it takes us.
Exactly. And today's text comes from a listener who asks,
Ooh.
Why do people don't land their dream job?
Interesting.
Yeah, so right off the bat, we've got a little bit of a grammatical error here.
Right.
But, we've all been there.
Oh, yeah. Typos happen.
Yeah, we've all sent that email that we wish we could take back.
Definitely.
But it is a good reminder, right, that when you're applying for jobs, especially your dream job,
absolutely,
clear communication is super important.
Yes.
So typos aside, this simple question can actually take us down a lot of really interesting paths.
It really can.
So how do we even begin to unpack this?
Well, I think a good place to start might be to kind of just acknowledge how complex this question really is.
Right.
I mean, there are so many factors that go into landing a job, let alone your dream job.
Yeah.
But maybe we could frame our discussion today around 3 key areas.
Okay, I like it.
So first we have internal factors.
Okay.
These are things related to the individual, like their skills, their experience, their mindset, even their approach to the job search.
Right.
Then we have external factors, things like the job market, the competition, the economy, even luck.
Oh, yeah.
Plays a role.
For sure.
And then finally, we have to consider the dream job itself. Is it actually realistic? Are the individual's expectations aligned with the reality of that job?
That's a really good point.
So those are kind of our 3 big buckets that we can dive into.
I love it. I love the buckets.
Okay,
so internal factors, that's a great place to start. I mean, it seems pretty obvious. If you don't have the skills or the experience that a job requires, you're probably not going to get it.
Right, exactly.
But what about those people who, on paper, they look totally qualified, they seem like the perfect candidate.
Yeah.
But they're still getting rejected. What's going on there?
Oh, that's where those soft skills come into play.
Right.
Things like communication, problem solving, teamwork, adaptability.
Yeah, tough to quantify.
Exactly. They're not always something you can list on a resume.
Right.
But they can be absolutely crucial in a job interview and in the workplace in general. I've seen it time and time again where you have a candidate with stellar technical skills, but their communication skills are lacking, or they just don't seem like they'd be a good fit for the team culture, and ultimately that can be a deal breaker.
Yeah, you can be the most skilled person in the world, but if you can't communicate effectively with your team and your colleagues,
it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's move on to external factors, because I think everyone listening has probably experienced this at some point. The job market can be tough. Competition can be fierce.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it feels like it's just impossible to get your foot in the door, let alone land that dream job.
It's true.
So how much of a role does luck or timing really play in all of this?
I think it's impossible to quantify the impact of luck. But I do believe that being prepared and persistent can definitely increase your odds of being in the right place at the right time.
Okay.
Networking is huge. Building relationships, even when you're not actively looking for a job, can really pay off down the road, because you never know when an opportunity might arise or who might be able to connect you with that perfect role.
It's all about who you know.
To some extent, yeah. It's not always what you know, but who you know can make a big difference.
Well, that's very true. Okay, so we've talked about internal factors, external factors. Now, let's talk about the dream job itself.
Right.
I think this is a really interesting point. What are some common misconceptions that people have about their dream jobs?
Well, I think pop culture plays a big role here. We see these movies and TV shows that glamorize certain professions.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And it can create these really unrealistic expectations about what it's actually like to work in those fields. Being a surgeon or a lawyer or a rock star, it might look glamorous from the outside. But the reality is that any job comes with its own set of challenges and stresses. And it's important to be aware of that before you set your heart on a particular career path.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be realistic about it. Okay, so let's kind of bring this all together for our listeners today.
Yeah.
We've talked about internal factors, things like skills, experience, soft skills. Those are all things that you can work on, you can develop.
Absolutely.
We talked about external factors, which are a little bit harder to control, but by being prepared, by networking, you can definitely increase your chances of success.
Exactly.
And then finally, we talked about the dream job itself and how important it is to really research a job, to talk to people who are actually doing that job, to make sure that it's something that you really want and that it aligns with your values and your goals.
Yeah, I think that's key.
So even if you don't land your initial dream job, the journey of self-discovery and skill building can lead to some really amazing and unexpected opportunities.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes you might end up somewhere even better than you initially imagined.
That's a great point. So listeners, that's our deep dive for today. What can you start doing today to get closer to your goals, or maybe even redefine what your dream job looks like?
That's a great question for everyone to think about.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.